Tovia Singer is a notorious rabbi, actually somebody I've learned a lot about, who, how can I say, conflicts with Christian missionaries in Israel on a regular basis. He's got a very, very interesting worldview. I don't agree with everything that he says, but very interesting worldview, and I respect him a lot for what he does. I'm Tall the Traveling Clout, your favorite sweet Zionist prince. We're going to be looking at some clips, what's going on here in Israel, starting off with Tovia Singer. If you want to be a sweet Zionist prince or princess just like me, get your merch down below in the description, and let's take a look at this clip. He's going to be talking about why Candace Owens turned against the Jews.
I'm curious. I'm from America, from Cleveland, Ohio.
It's hard to tell from your Portuguese accent.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Online there's all this upsurge in like anti-Semitism in terms of like the Christian hate the Jews and stuff, like Candace Owens, the Fuentes, all these people. Do you think it's a big surge now because of we're at the doorsteps of Mashiach and they have to fight it as much online to kind of go against the Jews, or just that's just how it always was, but now it's more online because we have social media and all that?
So let me reframe that and let me suggest it and see if I can persuade you of this. What I think we're observing, rather, is a complete polarization, that people either love Jews or hate Jews, and there's no one in between.
Right.
You and I know, if we stood on the streets of in Antwerp, in London, in Manchester, Hashem Yerachim, if we stood there and asked Goyim a question, what do you think about Jews? This is a thought experiment. The only rule in this game is that the person has to tell the emes. So you know and I know that people are going to do one thing. They're going to say something very strong. Either I hate Jews or I love Jews. Look at the United States. Look what's happening.
Right.
October 7th happens, the most horrible thing in any of our lifetimes, and in a visceral iteration of anti-Semitism explodes that we never saw since the Holocaust. After the Holocaust, at least they put the Germans on trial. They didn't put Israel on trial. That's an unbelievable thing.
It's true, actually.
So what I'm suggesting is don't just look at Candace Owens. What I think happened to Candace Owens was, I think everyone is missing this point about her. I don't know her personally,
Right.
but there's a big, big thing.
She worked with Jews, and now all of a sudden she's like,
Everyone missed this, and I don't know why. Now, I'm sure I'm not the only person to say this, but here's the real truth, and everyone missed it. It's like it went by and everyone ignored it.
right,
Her husband.
right, super Catholic.
He is from an iteration of Catholicism that rejects the Second Vatican Council. That's very important.
There aren't many British Catholics, right?
I love Tovia
Aren't they,
going.
like the Protestant church typically.
So first of all, the right of people in the United Kingdom are atheists. That's number one. Okay.
Just the Queen, or the King now.
So he's officially the head of the Anglican Church of England. But what really happened there, I saw this coming. Her husband is not Stam a Catholic. I don't remember his name. But he, Dafka, belongs to a version of Catholicism like the Mel Gibson type, where they hold that the last Emesnica Pope, the real last Pope, is Pius XII, Hitler's Pope. They hold that what Pope John the 23rd did, convening the Second Vatican Council, in it, there's one document, it's the shortest document of all, called Nostra Aetate, which means in our time, which officially rejects anti-Semitism, and removes the references to the perfidious Jew from the Good Friday liturgy, and says that it's also to be anti-Semite, and the Jews who killed Jesus were Jewish, but they have nothing to do with Jews today. You cannot hold the Jew today responsible for what was done to him, and they were anti-Semites, so they managed to reject it. You know, when he convened the second, he was a nice guy. He was a good, they call him the Papa Bueno. He was a nice Pope, because he was really the reaction to Pius XII. So what happened was the Arab world went crazy when the Second Vatican Council was convened, and then they had this Nostra Aetate, this document. It literally means in our time, which now is saying that Jews are not anti-Semitic. The Arab world went nuts, and they fought against it with the Catholic Church, saying, well, how could you put out such a document? So they had to come up with all kinds of compromises. They go this way, go that way. And ultimately, they came out with the very short document that we have today. So,
guys, I watch Tovia Singer on a regular basis because I learn from him a lot. We've had a very positive cadence throughout the last year. We haven't had a chance to actually meet yet in person, but I want you guys to go and mass subscribe to Rabbi Tovia Singer. And even if you are a Christian, who I know a lot of Christians don't like Tovia Singer. Actually, I know a lot of Christians actually do like Tovia Singer as well. because I know those two communities kind of butt heads. Tovia Singer's community and the Christians in Israel, they butt heads. I kind of find myself somewhere in the middle where I want to try to find a better way to bridge the gap. He has a lot of insight, not just about Judaism, but a lot of insight on Christianity. And he's an incredible creator, I have learned a lot from him. Look, he even did a collaboration with Nissim Black, who I just got to meet the other night. Fucking sweetheart. I love him. But Tovia Singer, go subscribe, support his channel. Let's blow him up. Go send him a bunch of subs. Tell him the Clat sent you. And if you guys want it in the comments below, leave it down below. I will try to set up maybe an interview with Tovia. I'll go to Jerusalem. We'll try to meet up. And we've been talking for like a year about trying to put something together, but we've lost contact here and there. Every time he leaves a comment on my video, I'm very honored. So again, I just want to say this doesn't mean I co-sign every single thing that Rabbi Tovia Singer says. Not like I co-sign every single thing that Charlie Kirk said, God rest his soul. Not like I co-sign everything that every person or even Tommy Robinson, who's hopefully going to be on this channel very soon. It doesn't mean I co-sign everything that they say, but I have a lot of respect for these thinkers, for a lot of respect for these talkers, a lot of respect for these educators, and Tovia Singer is no exception to that rule. So please do go subscribe to his channel, and please go watch that full video. There was a video, I was just listening to him on the bike the other day. I think it was this one. Why do Christians despise Jews? I think it was this one. And he specifically was going in about the whole Candace Owens and her husband thing. And it was a very, very interesting video. But you can see here, I watch his videos very frequently, especially when I'm riding my bike. If I have like 30 minutes on the bike or something, I'll be listening to Tovia Singer and try to learn something. So highly recommend you go subscribe to him. Go show him some support. He's really incredible. And let's take a look at this next video, which I believe is about Candace Owens as well. Sorry, this is a image here on Twitter. Zvika Klein says, I ran into this photo of Charlie Kirk at the opening of the U.S. Embassy in JLM by President Donald Trump in 2020. When then Israel supporter Candace Owens, the two were holding the historic cover of the Jerusalem Post, Kirk proudly shared this photo on his Facebook account. Yeah, I wonder what happened to this little demon. I mean, it really does seem like what Tovia says. It was her husband who has created this mess in her life and has sent her towards the path of anti-Semitism, down this path. So Coleman Hughes recently tweeted. Oh, actually, I saw this tweet. This is very good. This is a very good tweet. And I have a lot of respect for Coleman Hughes. If you guys don't know who Coleman Hughes is, he's a reporter from the Free Press. Incredible guy. He did a debate recently with Dave Smith, and fucking creamed him. And I think he is one of the, if I have to choose, and it's not because he's pro-Israel, because he's not necessarily a pro-Israel Zionist or anything. He's very, very balanced. When I want to get insight from somebody who I really think is going through the effort and research to present something in an unbiased way, I look at Coleman Hughes and I say, you know what? This is some good reporting. This is some very good, balanced reporting. Out of politeness, I've called what Candace suffers from as apophenia in the past, but let's call it a spade. It's schizophrenia. High functioning, sure, but it's textbook schizophrenia nonetheless, right down to the cliche of seeing meaning in a string of random numbers. I would agree with that. She's a psychopath. There's something wrong with her.
Anything to know about Kabbalists, it's that the numbers matter deeply to them.
It's true.
Numerology is important.
It is.
So I say to myself, the numbers of the prisoners, they cannot be random. They are random, but they can't be random. They have to hold some sort of a meaning. They're all over the place, right? Some of them are 3 digits. Some of them are 4 digits. There's no flow. Why would somebody do this? More than anything else, it's just difficult for you. If you're controlling this experiment, it's difficult to keep track of all of these numbers. When you just want to make somebody like 3, 4, 5, whatever it is. And then it hits me. Everything about this experiment is military. These numbers must be military. They must hold military significance. And lo and behold, I'm so ignorant about the military. I didn't know people that are in the Navy. How do you send a letter to someone that is on a military base? What does it mean when you put a zip code and then you have to attach to it a unit number? If you're going to send mail, it corresponds to military bases. And lo and behold, the prisoner numbers just so happen to correspond to 1971 military bases. And I'm going to go through those for you guys right now. Doug Corby's was 8612. That is the number that was assigned for the Naval Weapons Station in Long Beach, California. incredible that one took me a while to hack, because apparently when it's a medical center, a medical facility, they give them what's known as DMIS numbers. But again, Long Beach, California. We then have Clay Ramsey, 416, correlates to the engineering team in Vietnam, the Naval CB team, 416. I found their yearbook. I'm going through it, and I suspect that I'm going to find a familiar face. 1037, I told you that Richard Yaco's father was in the Navy. I told you that he was an engineer. That corresponds to the USS Braunstein. The commander was Stanley Thomas Counts, who ran engineering at Hughes Aircraft, ship hull 1037. Glenn Gee, that 3401 corresponds to the USS Darter. Darter, in 1971, was moved to San Diego in that very year to support 7th Fleet operations. Paul Baran, 5704. That is the Armed Forces of Europe, Canada, the postcode 5074, and the Middle East. Whit Hubble, we've been having trouble finding anything about Whit Hubble, so we are unsure about 7258. Somebody out there will be able to let me know. We have had trouble even establishing who his family is, if he's connected to the Hubble telescope. So we just have nothing but question marks when it comes to Whit Hubble. Stuart Levin,
I feel like I'm going to get a fucking seizure from this video. I don't want to watch this anymore.
That was the naval post in 1971 in Spain. They sent out the MC4 engineering team. They arrived there in July of 1971. Jim Roney, 4325. That corresponds to the Moffett Camp Pendleton. And am I bringing that right? Moffett Federal Airfield? Yeah, Mountain View, California, where the Army Reserve's 7th Psychological Operations Group is based. We also have Jerry Shue. We have Camp Pendleton, CA. That is, of course,
Shue,
also
Jerry
a
Shue,
naval base
Shue, Habibi,
in
Shue.
California. And then, last but not least, and you guys don't have to show this next one because I want to speak through this.
Ben Shapiro?
Tom Williams, prisoner 2093. Is this a naval base? I get a hit, guys. I do get a hit of a naval base that it corresponds to, the naval unit, rather, that it corresponds to. And it is the only naval unit on the list that is not American owned. And it just so happens to be French owned. Clipperton Island. Who knew? A naval base on Clipperton Island. First thing I'm thinking is, what the heck is Clipperton Island? I'm wondering if it's me. My husband then says he's never heard of Clipperton Island. And that's crazy because my husband is the king of geography. Xavier Poussard says he's never heard of Clipperton Island. So let me show you this island that apparently not many people have heard of, that had a military naval base and presence. That is a French island. Check this out on the map. Yep, let's go in here. Clipperton. What the heck goes on at Clipperton Island? It's incredible. So I'm wondering what goes on Clipperton Island. Nobody knows, okay? It's like people are asking questions. The most you can find really is that it's got a pretty gory history. I think even on that link that you just had up, it says that there's a lot of weird stuff that happens there. It's got folklore. I'm wondering what kind of folklore. Why is France? What's France doing on Clipperton Island? And now I'm starting to feel real sure that prisoner 2093 is suspicious.
What's wrong with you? What the fuck did we just watch? What the fuck did we just watch, bro? I don't even know what the fuck to say anymore. I really don't know what the fuck to say. I don't know what to say. Let me tell you a story. I used to live in the Philippines, okay? I lived on a small island in the Philippines, and they used to have folklore, because a lot of cultures in the world have folklore. They had folklore about these little demon creatures. I'm forgetting the name. If you're any Filipinos watching, you'll be able to write in the comments. Please write in the comments. They had these little demon creatures that would come out to you in the middle of the forest. So they would always tell me, when you ride your motorcycle at night, because I had a motorcycle there. I used to be cool. Now I just yell at a camera. I had my little motorcycle there. I'd drive around in the jungle to get back home. And you'd be driving down a pitch black road. They would always tell you, they'd be like, watch out for the little kubishushus. I'm forgetting what the name of these little demons were. Here, let's just look it up real quick. I'm going to Google Lil Filipino demon creatures. What are these called? Tiyanak. I don't think it was a Tiyanak because they spoke Bisaya. Let's see. Let's do Bisaya. Is it Tiyanak? Tiyanak. Maybe it is Tiyanak. Oh, Aswang. There it is. Aswang. Aswang. That's what it was. They would always be careful of the Aswang. And you laugh it off. Never in a million years did I ever have a connect. And I never made a connection that there might be, the Jews might be behind it, somehow. That the Jews are somehow invading the island that I was living on in the Philippines. And they would be like, oh, okay, the Jews are connected to the Aswang. There's little demonic folklore creatures. I never made that connection because I'm not retarded, but Candace Owens is. And this is what I'm trying to say. You, by all means, if you want to watch Candace Owens because it's a sinking ship, go for it. Like, I'm not going to be the one to tell you don't watch it. I get it. It's entertaining. But if you watch that 5-minute clip and you at the end of the clip were like, wow, I think you're also retarded. I think there's something wrong with you. And you know what I'm going to gauge? By all means, I call myself a retard. I say I'm hooga booga. I'm stupid. I'm all about making fun of myself. Yeah, I have the smallest ego on planet Earth. But you know who I'm gonna take seriously when they make an assessment that Candace Owens is schizophrenic? Fucking Coleman Hughes. He's a very intelligent person. He's not paid by anybody. We know who he's paid by. The guy is not a Zionist. It doesn't work for Russia. It doesn't work for Qatar. It doesn't work for Ukraine. It doesn't work for anybody. Works for the free press. So when he makes an assessment that Candace Owens is schizophrenic, I'm taking that shit seriously, my boy. I'm not looking at that and saying, no, maybe he's wrong. No, I'm saying, you know what? He might be right about something. But be careful. Maybe the Aswang are going to come get you. I don't know what to tell you guys. All right. Sonny Faz and UNC react to Candace Owens quoting a verse from the Quran that talks about Jesus. Let's take a look.
Hi, American Muslim fan here. In the spirit of friendship between our faiths, here is an excerpt from the Quran about Jesus, who, speaking as a baby to defend Mary's honor, said, I am the servant of God. He has given me the scripture and made me a prophet, and he has made me blessed wherever I am. God is my Lord and your Lord, so worship him.
Bro, she's gonna come to Islam, bro. Inshallah.
Bro, I hope so, bro. She's so close to the truth, dude.
They're like this. Dude, I'm telling you, most Christians are already Muslim by heart. 100%.
Hi, American Muslim fan here. In the spirit of friendship between...
I don't know who these two guys are. Sonny Faz and Unk. I don't know who they are. But yeah, inshallah that Candace Owens comes to Islam. I mean, it'll be a good collaboration between radical Muslims in the West and
Islam to coexist,
and our retarded little conspiracy theorist. It'll be a great collaboration. It would be really cool to go see her do Hajj in Mecca. I would be very excited to see that video. And how Islam has always been the truth by Qatari money. Candace Owens, Islam and Western civilization cannot coexist. We'll never be friends. Let's take a look.
Possibility for Islam,
maybe her name is Contradiction Owens or Hypocrisy Owens,
to coexist in the West. Do you think that's feasible? I'm not talking about individual Muslims who are lovely and peaceful and all of the rest of the preface stuff that we have to say before we talk about this. But what are your views on Islam?
How's it going in the UK? Those are my views. Okay, they have different views than us. Their views are that Western civilization is corrupted and awful, and it doesn't follow their code of ethics. It doesn't work. You cannot say that you can coexist peacefully. What's happening in the UK is the greatest example. What's happening in Europe, there's a European crisis going on right now, okay? They have different ideas of what freedom is. Their idea of freedom is not freedom whatsoever. And you brought up Ayaan Hirsi, and I've followed her closely, and what she says is so important. She is someone that has defected from it and is telling you exactly what goes on. It's amazing to me that people think that somehow if you bring people that actually hate Western civilization to Western civilization, what they're just going to warm up to it and say, we'll coexist peacefully, even though everything you do sickens us?
Well, they will coexist peacefully until the demographic changes are enough that they know. Until. Is Islam, are the central doctrines of Islam compatible with our most foundational Western values? You couldn't have a clear answer, and it is no. Now, many Muslims might decide to ignore the endless stuff that's useless in their holy books. But when the demographic changes allow you to then implement further intrusions on the rest of us, it's going to happen. And there is 1,400 years of history that suggests this.
Good luck, Europe. I don't see how Europe's going to get it back. I genuinely feel that they're done. People have asked me this question all the time, and I've looked at it and I've said, no, I think they're done. I don't see how they can get it back. I view America as the last stand for Western civilization. It's why it was so important for us to show a sign of support in Israel. They are our only allies in the Middle East, and the fact that it took us this long to take a strong stand for them is ridiculous, right? So I lived with a Muslim girl, so this is not at all an attack against peaceful Muslims. It's just a basic understanding that Islam and Western civilization are never going to be friends because they're fundamentally different ideas.
I do wonder if she has a degenerative brain disease. I'm not even saying it as a joke, because she does look very rational here. And I did used to watch Candace Owens. I'm not going to say I was like a super fan by any means. I was subscribed to her YouTube channel. I used to watch her as passively as I would watch Charlie Kirk, for example, as passively as I would watch maybe Ben Shapiro, even though I used to watch a lot of Ben Shapiro when I was younger. But I wasn't like a super fan, but I don't remember her ever being extremely unhinged. Like, I really don't remember it, and I don't know what happened. Maybe it really is a degenerative brain disease. It could be. I'm not even saying that as a joke. I'm being serious about it. Maybe she has a disease that's slowly taking over her brain and fucking her brain. Whatever the situation is very sad, and I will see you guys in the next one. Please become a sweet Zionist prince or princess by buying the merch below, and I'll see you then. Bye. Love you guys.
Has this ever happened to you? Hey, are you a Zionist? What is this hesitation? You think Judah the Maccabee was hesitating when he's fighting for Israel? Here, take this. You think Queen Esther hesitated before stopping Haman from ending the Jews of Persia? Well, hey Habibi, you think Herzl thought he was a white colonizer as he Zionized the Jews of Europa? Listen, kid, I don't care if you're a Muslim, a Jew, or a Christian. You're a Zionist, right? Yeah. Well, a good Zionist goes to thetravelingclad.com and buys some provocative merchandise. They do? Absolutely, a pinch of I have some incredible designs for you, Yeled. They say everything promised to you 3,000 years ago. Here, take a shirt with a matching hat. For you, good price. They say they kick you from 109 countries. Here, join the 109 club. Take shirt and matching hat. For you, good price. Habibi, you want to Zionize? Here, take shirt, matching hat. You like Kuba Select shel Safta? Here, take shirt, matching hat. Take sticker, take hoodie, take, good price, take, good price, take, good price, take, good price, take. Yossi, achi, he understand you, stop! A good Zionist goes to thetravelingclad.com and buys merch. Yalla, Habibi, for you, good price.
If you don't want to buy any merchandise, the best way to support me is by donating on Buy Me a Coffee, my PayPal, or becoming a member on my Patreon. Your support is very much needed and very much appreciated. Thank you.